So I wanted to discuss risers. I know that it's very popular right now to have tall risers, especially the Unity and the Hydra mount and all those optics and that go on those tall risers, and they do look cool. And I do have experience with them, but it gets very tiring when you have a lot of rifles. If you only have one or two rifles, it's not a big deal to remember what your holds are. But when you have as many rifles as I do, it gets very tiring having to remember um, what your point of impact is going to be and what your holds need to be up close. And I've heard some people say that 2 inches is not that big of a deal. Well, ladies would disagree with you. 2 inches is a big deal. To me, that's the difference between uh, a, a forehead shot and it going right over their head and hitting Miss Daisy right across the street. Poor Miss Daisy, she wasn't even involved in the situation, and now because you thought 2 inches isn't a big deal, here we are. And so to me, it's significant enough that over the weekend I went ahead and I took off all my tall optics. I have experience with a lot of different types of risers. I have the A&LV. This one's kind of expensive. The Unity riser, I have like 3 of these in here. Which one's this one? The overbore system. Wilcox for the EOTech. Carry handles, Kinetic. Is this the Kinetic? Yeah, Kinetic. So I have a lot of experience with risers, especially getting them tall, and it does get really tiring having to remember all of them. And so it's really just easier so that I can just 100% know that where I point my optic is where the bullet is going to go, and I don't even have to think about it with any of the rifles that I pick up. That, to me, the simplicity of it, again, like I said, if you've got 1 or 2 rifles, it's not a big deal, but I've got a bunch of them. And you know are you going to take a hostage shot without 100% certainty? I would not, but I do have 100% certainty and confidence in myself if all across the board, across all my rifles, it's the same exact way. And I have heard some people say, oh, well, what about night vision or a gas mask? Okay, if it's purpose built, that's different, but how often am I shooting under NVs or with a gas mask? Hardly never. So that's not even a thing for me. Not to mention, I like to be able to have a repeatable cheek purchase, which is much more difficult with a tall optic. And I was in denial of that. Trust me, I have spent the money just like you did, and I was in denial. I thought it looks badass with the Unity riser, but inevitably here I am, and I'm back to doing either lower 1/3 co-witness or full co-witness, and that seems to just be the best for me. That's what I like. And for me, it does not. I've had some people say that it bothers them to have the irons. To me, it doesn't matter. I shoot with both eyes open, so I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking down range. But yeah, to me, that doesn't bother me at all. What does bother me is when you have like a really large optic that is like obstructing like your peripherals. That bothers me. So yeah, thanks for listening. Appreciate it.